There's a breaking news coming in. In fact, the US President Donald Trump has tweeted his response over a tell-all book called Fire and Fury. In a series of tweets, the President of the United States denied the claims made in the book. He said, and here we quote, "Now that Russian collusion, after 1 year of intense study, has proven to be a total hoax on the American public, the Democrats and their lapdogs, the fake news mainstream media, are taking out the old Ronald Reagan playbook and screaming mental stability and intelligence. I went from very successful business to top TV star to President of the United States on my first try. I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius, and a very stable genius at that." And joining us live from the newsroom, we have our correspondent Aditya Dunna. Aditya, thank you very much for joining me. So we were waiting a response from the President of the United States. Here we go. As usual, he doesn't lack appreciation for himself.
Yeah, he's not enjoying this claims that have come out in the book called Fire and Fury, which is basically based on the early days of the Trump administration. If I can just go into the claims that have been made into this book, the writer of the book has specifically taken names of some of the leading members of his cabinet who allegedly have claimed to him that he's not mentally fit for the job of the President of the United States. Now, in his tweets, he talks about how Hillary Clinton also used this particular claim or this particular statements to attack him during the campaigning period, but this did not work for him. That's what Donald Trump says. If we specifically talk about this book, Fire and Fury, this is something that the White House is closely watching. They have been at the forefront of in their defense, specifically after the book release yesterday. It was sold out within 15 minutes in and around most of the cities of the United States. Now, they even, to the extent, went ahead and sent a cease and desist letter to the writer of this book so that the book is not released in time. But this has not deterred the writer who has gone on and released the book to the masses.
And there is also a pretty much clear mention when it comes to the relations between Russian individuals and members of the Trump administration in this book.
Well, yes, he talks about Steve Mnuchin, who is right now the Secretary of Treasury. In fact, in an interview to MSNBC, he even went on to say that he has audio recordings and transcripts of these particular members of cabinet making these claims, and this is something that he can substantiate if at all this particular thing is taken to the courts and challenged by the White House.
And this book is causing a lot of anger, and this is even a little bit of a change of strategy. Normally, presidents, when this kind of revelation comes out, prefer not to comment, not to get involved in this. So the anger and the anxiety that this book is causing in the White House is kind of speaks out loud. So we can say that maybe there is truth in this book.
That's what the author claims. He very categorically has told the media and the press that the whole book is based on interviews, on interactions with leading members of the Trump administration. Steve Bannon is mentioned in the book. He also goes on to criticize Donald Trump and say that he seemed to have lost the plot. He also mentions of an interaction with US President Donald Trump. He has in fact denied this particular interaction. He says it did not happen at all. But the writer says that during my interactions with President Trump, he knew that this was a formal interview, that he was being recorded. But in his previous tweets, the President of the United States has denied this. But Daniele, either way, this is something that has embarrassed the White House at large. They are trying to put up a brave defense at this, but considering the interest that has been developed by this book, it was sold out within 15 minutes, as I mentioned earlier. This is something that has embarrassed President Trump personally and the inner circle of President Trump. We are talking about Ivanka Trump, his son-in-law Jared Kushner, as well as the former members of his administration as well.
Thank you very much, Aditya Dun, helping us to understand why this book called Fire and Fury is creating so much anxiety and anger within the White House.